Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Botsa, the Technical Trader at techtrader.com. It's Saturday, March 18th, and this is the weekend webinar. Another important week in the markets as things unfold. And it wasn't a great week, but I will tell you that we had one spectacular day on Thursday where the market really ran up sharply. But take a look where the S&P got to. This is the internal, basically the declining top line, an internal trend line from the prior broken trend. So this is important because we're looking at a possibility of a 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I'm not sure this is a 1, 2 here and a 3, 4, 5 or not, but it seems to me that if we don't punch out and up and roll over, we're probably headed to 37.5, 37.70, possibly even down to 3,700 or less. For now, though, we need to break out and punch it out in the next week, day or two is going to be pretty important. Friday was quadruple options expiration, so I got to discount that as things unfolded on Friday. Maybe we can punch through it. I think if the market is following through to the upside, your targets are going to be a retest of the area near 407.80 and then 4,200. The NASDAQ 100 has a completely different look. After breaking the 5-wave decline with a pop right here, post triple bottoming and forming a nice W bottom, we ran up a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave pullback and then a nice spike up. Other than Friday, which was only down 0.5%. NDX had a very strong week, going from about 11.7 to nearly 12.7, almost 1,000 points. And so we'll have to see how this unfolds because right now, the NDX is positively divergent or is the S&P negatively diverging. We don't have confirmation from the S&P yet, but one way to look for confirmation is what's the transportation doing? Well, they're even worse. We're not getting any confirmation here either. And it's a 1, 2, 3. This could be wave 4 consolidating. Now, it's either a 3-wave corrective and we hold it right there and go. But with a broken channel, I'm now in favor of a deeper retrace towards 13.23 range. But remains to be seen. The small caps really got hit. You can see the pullback in the last couple of weeks has been horrendous. The IWM going from 192, dropping about 22 points to 170. And that's key support from the December lows as well. And this is a really important area, but you can also see that the 1, 2, 3 wave move up and a parallel channel was broken on the way down, as was price support. This is key support. We don't hold here. We're going to test these lows from June, July, October, and that's all the way down to 162.3 range. So stay tuned. We're going to find out what the indices want to do, but they're kind of mixed right now. The underlying indicators show that the Mahan also got pretty oversold at one point last week. Early in the week, it was down to minus 253, a level we haven't seen in 5 or 6 months, at a level that over the last few years has been historically extremely oversold. Now, 4 times it got deeper, so it still may be that we have one more little leg down in the markets and in the oscillators to get to a much more steeply oversold panic low, but maybe not. We'll find out. I like the reversal on Thursday, and Friday was a kind of a narrow inside day, so stay tuned. The percentage of stocks above their 40 have really dropped dramatically. Take a look at that. Oops, wrong chart. So this one's rolled over from 80 to 14 in a month. Looking back at oversold, we've got much deeper levels, but historically something in the high single digits is a place to be excited about a reversal. We didn't get there. We got down about 13 and change. 1368 was the low, 1871 was the close. This one will improve if the market does. Now let's look at some of the major components and what's going on with it. The leaders look strong. Apple is on the verge of breaking the neckline of a massive left shoulder, head, right shoulder complex. It's also a cup and handle. So any move on Apple that takes out 157.5 could lead to 163, 167 or more. It's a promising look for Apple. Amazon, not so much, but it did pop and break out and pull back for an inside day on Friday. Your next target's 104.5 zone, and then we could get up to the 112.14 zone. Google had a really good week. Take a look at this pop. from under 90 to 103.5. 14 points on Google. And you can see that it closed right on resistance here. But I like that kind of triple, quadruple bottom base pattern. And now my target zone is up in that 109 to 112 zone. On the other hand, Netflix, which was the leader, really not going well at all of late. You can see when I say a leader, beautiful five-way move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And more than a double from 165 to 379. So basically, we're looking at 214 points, or almost a triple. So the pullback shouldn't be a surprise, as money may have rotated into some of the others. If you look back at this channel, it's really right at the channel bottom. So this is an opportunity for Netflix to really put on a show and get back to 340, 375, and ultimately 4.25 or better. But the breakdown below last week's low would be cause for exiting from the 285. Microsoft, outstanding. Beautiful rising channel. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the fifth wave is spike up time. Last week, Microsoft went from 245 3/4 to 282 and change. Very nice pop, 38 points, about 15% moving a week on Microsoft, and definitely a market leader. You can see it's the highest level since back in August for Microsoft. It's firmly broken its 5-wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave decline, retested, ran up and retested again, double retested, held at platform, and it's looking like to me your next target has to be about 290. So Microsoft in the plus camp. NVIDIA as well, powerful move, as strong as anything on the board right now. From the October low at 108, the stock has got to 264. Huge move. Right now it's near the next target and resistance, which would be around 269, and then we're looking at 289. Those are levels to look at, although I must point out that with multiple touches at the top of this channel, it's a little overbought short term. Still fabulous chart. Meta, powerful as well. The highest level on this one since back in May of last year, almost a 52-week high in the midst of this market. Pretty impressive. We get through here, you're looking at 230-40 zone for META. And finally, Tesla has had a big move from a low of under 102 to a high of 214, more than doubled, and then the nice 0.375 fib retracement to test support and bounce. What you're seeing over last week was a 4-day flag. So keep an eye on Tesla next week, because a move over 186 could trigger a move to 200 and even 214. 200, 214 are your targets if it runs. And if that's the case, keep your eye on TSLL, which if it pops above here, could rip into the 12, 14 range or more. This is a Tesla tracking stock. Let's take a look at some of the ETFs we follow closely. Semiconductors still hanging in there very nicely. If you take a look at the pattern, it's still a 1, 2, 3 and a wave 4 platform. Key resistance, of course, is up at 254.5. You get to that, you're looking at 285 and a big move in semiconductors. It does look like a V-bottom, right-handed extension or a cup and handle, and another flag, and it really looks good despite the market. We even had a breakout on Thursday, although we haven't broken through. Keep an eye on it, because the Friday high, 54.18, wasn't far from the highs, and kind of got a quadruple top. We get to that level, they could lead the market higher. What about biotechs? Well, let's look at XBI. XBI down near some key support from back in September, October, did bounce, but this one's going to have to get up through 80 to indicate it may be on its way much higher. And looking at the LABU as well, the lower price one, don't be surprised if ETFs like LABU and Boyle do reverse splits. That's when they get this cheap, they usually do that. In any case, this needs to hold support at the 460.75 zone. That's LABU. And the boil's the same. It's down there 460 as well. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. Financials, obviously, with the banks having a bad time, are the ones that were concerned. Look at this rollover. Well, I told you there was support at 76. Well, these things got crushed. It went all the way from 76 down to 51. That's losing 24 points in a week and a half. Call it 2 weeks. Still pretty ugly, and it's testing the lows from October. If they can hold it here and the banks get righted, I think the key is going to be on the FAS above 59, above that level there. Maybe we have a bigger rally in store. But we'll be watching closely the banks and financials next week. Gold and silver made a significant move. Here's the GDX. Friday's volume was heavy too, 64 million shares on a breakout day. Although it is at resistance, my next target will be 33. Longer term, 36. The stocks we like in that group are the ETFs are Nugget and JNUG. You see the pop of almost 10% on Friday on Nugget, and JNUG even more, 11%. Both of them have popped out, it appears. Both of them have already taken out the declining tops lines, as you can see. So gold may be embarking on a new intermediate move to at least start with by getting back above up to the recent highs 46 on Nugget, perhaps 47 and a half on JNUG. So we shall see, but initially JNUG's got to get above 39.60 resistance right there and fill that little gap as well. We'll have to look at gold, silver, AGQ also popped out. The big boys in our group were Pan American Silver, which made a significant snapback and breakout, up about 7% Friday alone. I picked up to 9 million. That's the biggest I've seen since back here in November. So my target now is about 19 for PAS. And Wheaton, which is the big boy, has a better looking chart, better angle. It came down pretty hard and did a nice fib retracement, but what a rally back. And if WPM takes out 46 and a half, targeting 52, 55 area. So gold and silver looking better, of course. And a look at the oil sector. USO, well, I've been telling you for weeks now that this is looking toppy. Well, oil made 52-week low on Friday. I was at Thursday or Friday. 57 on that oil, but the USO 57.94 was the lowest levels in January of last year. So it's significant, and there's some support here from the prior high back in here. So you might see a snapback in oil, at least temporarily. But we're in a downtrend, no question. But on UCO as well. And you can see that it's in free fall basically. So I'm not happy about what I'm seeing in the oil sector. Many individual stocks, and several which I'll show you later, have broken head and shoulder type tops and are rolling over in that sector. And they're market leaders in the oil sector too. So despite all the pundits talking about oil's going to 100, whatever, I keep saying it's going lower. I think oil's going to be 55, 57, something like that. We'll see. I may be wrong. Gas, well, natural gas has gotten pummeled. The KOLD has been a monster after a huge drop. Breakout occurred right there in January at around 28.9. Within a few weeks, it was trading at 83. It's come down from the rising bear wedge. I'm not sure because it's held a trend line, whether that is, when I'm looking at that, or I'm looking at a pullback low and a rally back. The targets would be back to 85.6 and then 100 if this thing wants to extend. And on the other side of the coin, oil is at multi-year lows. Let's call it all-time lows and retesting. If it takes this out, and I got a feeling this is going to reverse split very soon. Don't be surprised to hear that announcement. 434 was the all-time low. It rallied back to almost 8. And here we are back at 457. So it might be a retest and a double bottom forming, but you can't anticipate that until we get some upside movement. Right now, if you look at the bars here, they're about 6 of the last 8 bars are down bars, and pretty good high volume down bars too. So careful with that. Let's look at the indices, the underlying technicals for the markets, the NASDAQ 100 generals, and the leading ETFs that we follow. A lot of stocks to discover, both long and short. Let's start with ACLX. ACLX is one of my top picks of the year. Now, with many biotechs pulling back recently, the market pulling back, this has suffered a decline to retest support, but it's done it so very successfully. And it may have broken out this week, so let's keep an eye on this one too. Overall, beautiful chart. Targets are 35 and 40. AEHR continues to impress, consolidating very bullishly at a high level after a massive run. Tried to break out Friday, but what this really has to do is get above 37 and a half, 3/4, and then you look at 45.6. Beautiful long-term chart. Agilysys, what a move here. May of last year, they took this down to 31, and recently, 88. 150% move in the last 9-10 months, and now the platform. So obviously in this market, a stock like that is vulnerable. So what you want to do is put your stop right there, under 73.5 roughly. You got about 3-point leeway, but the upside targets are 88 and 95. AI, well, I'm getting a little bit worried about this one because it has such a beautiful run and a beautiful wedge. And then it just went bonkers one day, right here, jumping from 24 to almost 29. It did it on 75 million, but there was zero follow through except for early in the morning. Then it reversed at the prior high, come all the way down to retest these lows. So 100% now, the stop must be under 21. Sorry, under 20. Under 20 is where I would leave this stock. It's not been consolidated for 6 days in a box. I would only get excited about it over 22 3/4 with buying. Be very careful with AI. Allegro Microsystems, a very strong semiconductor with a long-term 1, 2, 3, 4-way move. If semiconductors do what I think they might, this might very well be 50-53. ALVO in the biotech sector, surges, falling wedge, breakaway gap, coil. Another pop with 2 wedges, 2 gaps, and then another wedge forms here. It pops out and then goes laterally. And for the last few weeks, it's been just going sideways. But it's a nice setup for more upside. Should it get above 15, I'd look for 18. AMAM with a big move out of a coil in February, taking it from 128 to 1307. What a move in about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Since then, it's pulled back and forth. It's been coiling. It wasn't a good day Friday for it. It's dropped 120 or about 11.5%. So keep your stops under the VWAP and under that level, 739 there. And where are we now? 778 there. So something in that 7.5, 3/4 range is your support, so be careful. If it does move further, we can see 12, 14, etc. AMD, wonderful move, and you can see the long-term declining channel broken, W bottom and platform, very similar to what the NASDAQ 100 looks like. And last week was exceptional for it, as it went from 78.5 to get up to almost 100, 98 3/4. So it popped 20 points. And we're reaching up toward the resistance level near 100 and 204, where resistance lies, must be the next target. ARDX, check out this chart. This biotech stock has gone from June of last year at 50 cents, I kid you not, to 416, eightfold, and still looks like a flag is going to send this higher. I got a target at 5. Arlo, broke out of a base, pulled back, and now it's bouncing again. Kind of forming a little consolidation wedge in here. Very, very attractive look to this one. If it pops out, 7 and 8 are targets. Sun. Well, after a long decline, it broke out here, pulled back and filled the gap and tested and moved back up again. So what I'm looking for, and this is a tech trader new swing, over 23. The stock could rock to 28.30 or more. The gold sector, AU in particular, gap, and another gap. That's 3 gaps in a week and a half on the upside. Very solid stock. Good volume too. Look at the volume Friday, 10 million. AUPH, breakaway gap, sharp run up, and then coil consolidated wedge. Breaks out, but it couldn't follow through and backed off the test. That test was successful. 8.5 is support. Resistance 9.5. And yeah, 9.5 and 10.5 is resistance. The targets are 11 and 13. Azul, what a nice move. Look at the long-term declining pattern on this South American airline. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down. A spike breakaway surge to resistance pullback. This is a setup, whether it pulls back first or not, for a move up into the 910 zone, in my opinion. The IVI. After breaking out in November, December, and spiking up, it got hit hard and drifted back down, only to break back out and snap back again. What might be for me here is something like this, but you can't guesstimate that. I would say longer term, I'm at least looking for a move back to 13, 14. The LBD, inverse head and shoulder breakout, retest the neckline, explode with a breakaway move, get the resistance there and target, and then pull back. Still looking for more, 27.5 target. Well, targets are 23 and 27.5. BLPH, look at this move for this little low price puppy too. $1.25 to 788 in a week and a half. And now consolidating, flagging right there. If it moves, your next target is 9. With the banking crisis underway, the BNKD, which is a bank bear ETF, exploded out of a long-term falling wedge. Here it is. Ripped through resistance and it's up there, secondary resistance, right about there. So that's it. If any follow through in the banking sector on the downside, this might reach 17.18, but be careful, it's extended. BOR, well, this has been on my list all year. Finally reached my target zone and then some at 7 3/4. 772 was the high. Now the pullback to support. Still within the confines of a rising channel. My problem is it's oil and gas, so it may have a deeper retrace. How about this? Very sneakily, in the last 8 or 9 months, CBay gone from 168 to nearly 10. How about that for a move? So here I had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then moved sideways in wave 2. This is 1 and 2, and this is 3. This is actually 4, very short and truncated, and it broke out Friday. Reached all the way up over 10, finished 9.59 up 45 cents, 5% still. This has got great momentum. Look at the tech rolls. I'm not going to be shocked to see 13 on this one. CECO, beautiful rising channel intact. This is a tech trader swing. It's had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 way move is ready, so the pullback shouldn't be a surprise. That could be a reversal day, so you got to be careful. And what I would say is at this point, if it does hold, your next target is 17. Certara, bottom last November, it's been in a rising channel ever since. It's exploded Thursday and an inside day Friday. It may not be done. It doesn't look like a top to me. It looks like a breakout. So extension target now is 24.5, 25. COIN. You can see COIN basically exploded, back and filled, had a net island reversal here, a V bottom reversal there, and breakout on Thursday and Friday. And so the bottom line is you can see that the next target would have to be upwards of 87, 88. This is a very good looking chart. COTY has been in a long rising channel, and it's been doing it since the $6.20 range where it had multiple bottoms from the base in October. And from that level, it's nearly doubled. Recent high was 1163. It's holding support and trend line right now, consolidated. If there is an extension, 14 is your target. CPRX, one of my top picks of the year, had a really tough time in January when it got slam dunked, but coiled. And on Thursday, it had a dip and a rip. And so it's closed pretty well for me. Watching it carefully. Any move above, say, 17 could get this one back into 2022 range or more. Big move last week is CRBP. You can see that this stock has exploded literally from 213 to 765 in just 4 days, 5 days. So maybe a little extended, but big, powerful volume on this. And maybe we back and forth for a bit. Next, if it does stretch out, 9 and 10 3/4 are your next targets. CTLT, big downtrend. At one point in 2021, this stock was 147. Believe it or not, they got it down to 40, while losing over 100 points. Nice base. There's your breakout. There's a breakaway gap. And look what it's been doing since then. 2 months of consolidating and holding support. But I would have to put a stop under 64. On the upside, 74 and 81 are targets. CYH with a big uptrend from October to February took it from 188 to spike up to 8. So more than fourfold. Now the pullback to fill the gap is testing for support. Something to keep an eye on. The AO, this Chinese stock has been a rising channel ever since, hardly been affected by the pullback in some of the Chinese stocks. Your target now is 10 and 12. As with the oil coming down, the drip broke out of a long-term downtrend, broke out of a base, had a breakaway gap, and then pulled back and stalled in here. That's a good sign. I think it goes higher. The other stock I follow now, ETF group for oil bears, SCO. Look at this base. It's been basing for a year. It finally popped out last week and it's stalling here. I think if oil goes lower, this is a $36 stock. EBON, eBang is a Chinese computer systems company, I believe. It went from 2.5 to 11, and it's a very orderly, slow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rate decline. So I would say a buy here, stop under 5.5. Targets are 8 and 11. ELEV with a big week last week, exploded from 1 to 258 and finished at 255. So coming out of a line base like that and breaking with a gap with good volume, I'm now looking for a move to stretch this to 4. ELF, been phenomenal all year since May when this stock was down in the 20 range. It has subsequently nearly quadrupled, 75, 78. It's now consolidating again. I don't know how far they can take this, but it's been one hell of a chart this year and one of the better performers on Wall Street. ELVM, breakaway gap, popped and coiled in a larger coil, and then broke out, and now it's wedging. Bullish action, continuation patterns, targeting 29 at 35. ENVX breaks the downtrend, pops up to resistance. It hasn't gotten through, but look at the last 4 or 5 days. We are anticipating that this is going to take out 1130 and run to 13 and 15. ENZ, Friday was a huge monstrous day. 36 million shares in a stock that maybe not traded out in a month. And it did it with a huge gap and finished up 103 or 86%, although it did pull back off the high, which was 239. It finished at 225. Not bad though. Get up through here. Momentum could take this to 2 3/4 and 3. ERJ, that's the South American airline manufacturer, breaks the big downtrend, pops out and forms a big bull coil above the breakout point, and it's been running. Very nice chart. 16 and 18 are targets. In the Bitcoin realm, with Bitcoin recovering and cryptocurrencies recovering, ETHE, Ethereum, Grayscale Ethereum, popped up to the trend line, pulled back and coiled. It looks like it wants to break out. Keep an eye on this one. It's a nice setup with a big bottom and a platform. Should it go, your target would be 11.5. ETNB, a wonderful junior biotech stock, has gone from 2 to 15. And it doesn't look done yet, but the pullback is pretty severe, particularly on Friday. So what I'm going to need is 14.5 to break it out. In which case you'd have 18 as a target. But I would also put a stop under 11. Don't want to see this fall over. FDMT, well, it was top 20 pick of mine, but it's been doing nothing but consolidating in a falling channel ever since November when it exploded. So we'll see what this does. It did bounce off key support, now 1465. First Solar has been a monster all year. Last in July, it popped out of the base with a breakaway gap and just kept going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 waves up, and doesn't look done yet, does it? Look at that flag. Next target, 225.28. Fastly. Well, I've been showing you this for a few weeks. Broke out of a base, exploded, pulled back, forms a beautiful flag, and popped out Thursday. Pulled back Friday, but I'm looking for 19 and 23 on this one. Tech Trader swing. FUSN, nice little junior biotech, popped out there. It's forming a beautiful wedge. It looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth wave target 6, 6.5. GBTC, that's the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. You can see the trend was broken there. The coil formed, the large wedge actually. Break out and retest the apex, blow through, and run up to the next target zone. So should we get through that, and there's a big gap there, we might see 19 and 22. Barrick Gold is one of the gold stocks I like. Big rally last week with the markets. Went from about 15.5 to 18.25. Holding right there at 18.12. The next target is 20. HIMS, long downtrend, broke out, retested, did a 15.618 fib retracement, breakaway gap through this down channel. It's worked its way up and pulled back from resistance and broke through and kept going. Hit the channel top, pull back, bit of an island reversal there, always a negative, be careful with that one. HIMX, inverse head and shoulder, breakout and coil. If it pops, target's 9.5, 10. If it drops, you stop. It's under 7. HMAY, a little junior gold silver stock. You can see the way it's been popping, breaking, big volume on Friday. I'd like to show you that one. 4.25 and 5 targets. In the coal sector, HNRG popped with big volume with that stock, which is thin. Got all the way up to 870, pulled back about 75 cents, finished on 43 cents, 6%. But it looks like a breakout and then a pullback. We'll see. Target 10, 11.5, and 14. HROW is the Tech Trader top 20 pick for the year. You can see why it's gorgeous. And it's currently in bull coil near the apex. Next target 20.5, 24. IMMR breaks out of a base with a breakaway gap, forms a little wedge and pops up, pulls back, forms a wedge, breaks out. It's now retesting the high. Target 10. IMVT also a top 20 pick for the year after a big run up. It's pulled back a bit, like many of the biotechs. This one seems to be holding well. I'm still looking for 21 and 25 or more. INDI, nice little junior semiconductor with a beautiful base and breakout. It's pulled back orderly, low volume, pretty much low volume. My target's 12.5. INTA breaks out of a base in September, just continues to run. It's gorgeous. I would say you may want to consider stopping under 37, but right now my target's 45.6. ISCE, quite volatile, swings up and down, but in a trading range for quite a few months. It broke out and pulled back. It popped again and pulled back. It did it a third time and pulled back. Where's this going to go? Well, I think the key is going to be if this takes out 24.65 with energy, it may run. Targets 26.5 and 29.5. LAZR popped out of here. We put a swing on it. It ran up to the target nicely. Now it's pulled back. I think it's a swing entry for a move to 11.12. Stop under 7.75. Mara with Bitcoin rallying. Mara also did very well, but you can see ran up flag, popped flag, and now it's running up again. This time with solid volume. The problem is key resistance at around 9.5. You get through that, which is target number 1. The next target is 10.75. MBLY recent split up from Intel back in October. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth wave may have started Friday. I'm looking for 49 and 57. NGNX, Tech Trader swing. A lot of noise here. Popped out on Thursday, looked like it was going to fly, backed off. That's okay. You need to get it up above there. And once you see above 7.5, I would look for 10. MNSO, look at a breakout in November and a strong, steady rising channel ever since. That first pullback was a nice little entry up around 885. It more than doubled to 19.5. It doesn't look done, but Friday wasn't a good day for it. MYGN, inverse head and shoulder, breakout, pullback, retest. It's moving against right after declining top sign. A move here, any kind of real volume, and you might spike up to test these highs up here. So I'd have to target 27.8. Demand money, one of the major goals. I want to show you how some of them are snapping back. In TRA, after breaking out here and retesting, it's just stair stepping its way up. Beautiful longer term base too for about a year. Next target would have to be upwards of 75. Navitas, nice rising junior semiconductor. It's gone from 3 to 7, and now it's wedging. Next target would be 8 and 9.5. OCEA, what a crazy stock. Exploded, literally exploded. And they came down a falling wedge. Breakaway gap one day, and then another falling wedge. Can it come back up again? If so, targets 11.75. OCUP, feels like a large wedge is formed in an uptrend that could lead to a nice surge, 4.5 and 5 targets. OI, well, this broke out here from the wedge, popped again, is now flagging and wedging again. The channel's intact. It looks like a $26 and $29 stock eventually. Keep your eye on support. Stop under 20.25. OKTA feels like the long-term downtrend is over. This breakaway gap and coil broke out again and had a falling wedge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a wedge again. I'm not sure how much more it's got, but should it accelerate, I can see 110 on target. PATH broke out. We put a swing on it. It came right back down in a 5-wave decline. But look at that snapback on Thursday. Here's your resistance now. Get it to 18, and you're destined for 22.3 in my opinion. PDFS, nice biotech stock, broke out, retested. It's been running up ever since, and it has designs on 42.3. PERI, one of my favorite stocks in the last 2 years. We had swings on it there, and a third one there. This one really run well. Look how well it's holding at the market pullback, reaching 37 plus, targeting 45. PRQR, line base, moved up, spiked up, gapped up, coiling. If that coil breaks, 4.75 is my target. PXMD, triple bottom and spiking off the bottom looks interesting to me, but it's at resistance. I need to get an extension past 3 with energy. Then your target's 390 at 5. Roblox, well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Couldn't get through on Friday. Let's just say there's work to do, but if it gets through 47, 55, and 60 are targets. RCEL, nice base, breakout, flag, breakaway gap, and now another flag or coil. To me, I can't tell if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or it's breaking out here with a 1, 2, 3, 4, and the next leg takes you to 16. That's my target. RELL has been an uptrend all year, currently consolidating coiling, wedging. I'm not going to be happy until it gets over 22 and then 24. Those are targets short term. Rely Global, or Remedy Global, sorry. Beautiful base. Notice the breakout, the run up, the pull back to the moving average, and then Friday another new high. That's great. I got targets at 18 and 21.5. Riot, along with Mara, that broke out, particularly on Friday, had a very good day and traded heavy volume too. Looks to me like targets are 9 and 10.5. ROIV, a top 20 pick for the year, coming out of a coil Wednesday, inside day Thursday, and Friday was a follow-through day with big volume. Keep an eye on the stock because I think you get above 9. You might look at 10 and 12 as targets. Roku, coming out of a wedge, it appeared, but after a long downtrend and run up at a 1, 2, 3, it looks like one big wave wedge here, which could be a 1, 2. meaning that targets are now 75, 85, and 95. RRGB, low-priced restaurant chain, Red Robin, broke out, retested, and that's moving again. I like the look of this. I got a target of 15. RXDX, how about that? Explosive breakaway gap and then the flat rising flag. One of these days it could explode, but it's an expensive stock. SCLX, monster move, December, January, taking it from 287 to 1169, more than tripled, almost quadrupled, and now I'm back and forth and wedging and narrowing. If it makes another move, we could retest the highs. I look for 10 and 12. SE, long downtrend after a monster uptrend. And now it looks like it's there's time way higher. It's got a wedge forming in here. Right in here. Watch for a breakout of that wedge and it popped to 87 and 93. SCRA, this little low price stock just exploded, went vertical, and that's got a rising flag. Very bullish. Don't know what to make of that other than to say my target is 6. SGML in the lithium group held up better than most. It's consolidating, wedging in this area right here. I want to show it to you because any stock, the stronger a stock is in a downtrend, the more likely it is to be very strong in uptrend, especially through that area. 38, 39 is resistance, targeting mid to high 40s. SHC, big breakaway gap in January and a long multi-week flag. I just wanted to show it to you because if it pops, you're looking at 21, 22 or more. SMCI, how about this uptrend? 35 to 100, I think. No, yeah, 104 from 35, a triple. 1, 2, 3, 4. This looks like a 1, 2 though. We may get a 3, 4, 5 to get it into 135 to 150 zone. Sony, no baloney. The stock broke out, pulled back, popped again, and then backed off. It's got a nice potential for a longer move. You have resistance right here. You get it to there, and you might see 115.20 again. Spotify comes out of a downtrend, runs up sharply, pulls back, forming some sort of flag in here. If this gets up through 131, targets 145 and 160. No kidding. SQSP, look at the long base. Breakout, retest, and up every day last week. Target is 31. Thread up, low price stock had a big decline from 30 to under $1. It's now based out, popped out, and now wedging. Feels like a stock that wants to go again. There's your wedge. Keep an eye on this one, targeting 3.5 and 5. Tenable, the software group, V-bottom with a platform breakout and consolidation in wave 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth wave target, 50, 52 zone. TERN is one of my top picks of the year. You can see the rising channel intact. Beautiful chart. My target now is 15. TGLS, a text rated swing, broke out. We put a swing on it, just kept going. Reaching 43.84 before backing off 6-7 points last week, still holding the trend line, and it did it on a fairly low volume, so I would be looking for more upside. TGTX, nice consolidation underway, 1, 2, 3 wave corrective, I think. Coiling, it's a 1, 2, a large 3, 4. A fifth wave could be in mid to high 20s. TMDX, long rising pattern, broke out and retested the breakout point and held the trend line. So if this is going to be some sort of wedge in here, the breakout, once it gets past the high, which is about 82, 82.5, then I'm looking for 90. TRMD, look at this chart, breaks out of a base, it still stepped its way higher, consolidate, took a dip to the trend line, then ripped, now it's pulled back to the breakout point. I think it's not done. Mid channel target's 40, upper channel target 50. TGX, long downtrend, a breakout, a retest, a breakout to retest this triple top here, and now it's been coiling, consolidating this range for almost 2 months. Once it takes out 54.5, I look for 60, 70, and more. UMC, inverse head and shoulder, breakout, coil. The coil may be breaking. Looking for more upside, targeting 9 3/4 and 11. BKTX with a big breakaway gap in December, a coil, and another flag. To me, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm looking for one more wave at least, 14, 15 zone. VRCA, pop wedge, pop falling wedge, looking for another wave to 10, 11. VRDN, a top 20 pick for the year, has had a tough time of late as it ran all the way up into the 39 range, but it's pulled back to 27.5 at support and at the trend line. Needs to hold right about here. VRNA, similarly, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm looking for a big fifth wave, 26 and 35. Wheat and precious metals, we showed you, that's silver. XPOF, they're stepping its way up. Nice chart. I have a target of 33. Targets of 30.5 and 33. XPON also stepping its way higher. Doesn't want to go down. Next target is 8. YEXT, strong rising channel as well, multiple waves. Accelerating here, I have $11 target. And ZIM, which had a long decline, taking it from 80, 90 zone all the way down to the high teens, seems to form the platform and it's bouncing. Watch this one next week. Over 25, we're looking for a run to 29 plus. And that's it. Alongside, I do have some shorts to show you, and we'll finish up today. Matter of fact, I'm going to go over the whole list. Oil sector, APA, I showed you that bear flag 2 weeks ago, 41. Well, guess what? It reached 31 this week, 10 points lower. But it is at some support range here. In the steel sector, sorry, agricultural import sector, CF breaking a top and breaking key support going back a year. I have downside targets now at 63 and 57. Clearfield, I just missed this one, period. You know, it was one of my favorites on the upside. I think we put a swing on it at 69 and went up to 132. But look at the breakdown here, underneath key double bottom from the bear coil, and it's now down near support. It might bounce, it's a little extended, having dropped from 134 down to 47. COP, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down. This bear wedge was a no-brainer in my opinion. So was that bear flag. I still think the target's 88 and then maybe even 81, but it's got multiple waves down and oil may have a short-term bounce, and we'll see. CPRI, when I saw this big gap in that beautiful bear coil, I said this is definitely a tech trader swing short. It dropped from 50 to 40 in a flash. May not be done. There's a double bottom around 38. The INO also rolled over and bounced Thursday, but it is broken support. It's Sinclair Oil, and I'm looking for 41 and 36. Devon, yet another oil, massive top formation broken, another bear flag there, breakdown there. Is that support? It may bounce. Your next target, though, 36.7. EQNR, massive head and shoulder top, breakdown, snapback, roll over Beethoven. The bottom line is, it's a 1, 2, 3, and maybe 4 and 5 will ensue. If you get the fifth wave, it's mid-20s. FN breaking a long-term rising channel. And then after forming a coil at support here, a descending coil, it broke down. We break here, you're looking a lot lower in the call it 98 and 92 zone. NFE, yet another energy stock. This is a utility, massive top breakdown, bear wedge, and roll over hard. So it may get down eventually to a 20, but now it may need to bounce in wave 4. Looks like a 1, 2, 3. Plexus breaks down, forms a wedge. I put a tech trader swing short on it. I actually wanted to, that's what I saw, that wedge in there. And then it came down and bounced, but then came down harder and bounced. If that whole pattern develops to lower, we should see 86, but makes you 78. VTLE, formerly Laredo Petroleum, made another massive top forming in an oil stock and a breakdown to a new 52-week low. Next target is 36 and 29. And folks, I can go over dozens more stocks, but those are chiefly the shorts I wanted to show you for today. I got a bunch of new ones too. A quick look at them. ACTA, BABA, BILL, CALX, CI, CRT, oversold. Many of these are not on my list because they're not ideal shorts at this point. They've reached cover levels actually. CVX, Chevron, DDS, that one just broke that bear flag. This could be interesting. I have targets at 300 and 258. DGX breaks the head and shoulder top, snaps back to the neckline and fails. Lower levels can be seen, 120, 120. Domino's Pizza, massive top broken. Who knows how far they can take this one? I got targets at 268 and 245. KEYS breaks down, forms a bear flag. Careful here. This looks very dangerous. Target 145 or 130. Overstock was up Friday, but it's still in a very negative trend. PBH comes down, forms a bear coil, tests support and bounces. Still, now it's a big bear flag, either way you look at it. I have targets at 55 and 52. ROST looks like that topped, snapback failed and rolled over. It's filling the gap in here. It needs to go a little lower, 98, and then maybe 92. SMLR has been on my list for 2 years, almost a year and a half. From 86, it's already down to 20, and it looks lower to me. How about TCX, 2 cows? That's right. That would be a bear coil or flag, whatever you want to call it. Looks lower to me. Target 17, 18 zone. Triton International rolled over from the bear flag, failed at the moving averages, rolled over really hard. The next target would be down around 54.5. Tech target reached the bottom of the channel, so it's bouncing. Look at that long decline. Bicar, slam dunk, bear wedge. I think it goes lower. 35 and 31 targets. And VIR breaking a top and forming a bear flag looks like it could be 20 or even 18 and a half. That's it for today, everybody. It's a long look at the technicals, the indices, the ETFs of importance, a long list of longs, and a decent list of some of the shorts that I would consider if I were you. But you'll notice that the last half of that short side report consisted of stocks that were so oversold already, I wouldn't be initiating new positions at this point. Might even consider covering them. Anyway, it's going to be an interesting week next week. You guys review this and make sure you know it, have ideas that you want to act on next week. And if you ever have any questions about support, resistance, and targets, you can always ask me. For now, have a great rest of the weekend. I'll talk to you Monday. Bye.